but just never really felt like authentic.
In 2022, Jelly Roll stepped on a scale and saw 563 pounds staring back at him. 2 years later, the country star's transformation would shock the world. From overdosing in prison to selling out arenas, from eating whole wedding cakes to losing 150 pounds in 6 months. This is the story of how a former drug dealer became country music's most unlikely star. Jelly Roll, whose real name is Jason Bradley DeFord, was born on December 4, 1984, in Antioch, a rough area just outside Nashville, Tennessee. His life started in chaos. His mother, Donna, was battling mental health problems and drug addiction. His father, Buddy, was busy with his meat business and working as a bookie for illegal gambling. This meant Jelly Roll grew up in a messy and unstable home. His mom gave him the nickname Jelly Roll because he was a chubby little kid. Nobody imagined that one day this name would become famous. He was the youngest of 4 kids, with 3 older half-siblings. Life at home was hard, but Jelly Roll found comfort in music. By the age of 9, he had already written his first rap song, showing early signs of the talent that would later change his life. Antioch, where he grew up, was not an easy place for a kid. It was filled with crime, drugs, and poverty. Many people in the neighborhood didn't have jobs, and the ones who did often turned to illegal work to survive. Jelly Roll once said he didn't know anyone with a real job while growing up. Schools in the area were overcrowded and underfunded. He barely went to school, and by the time he was 12, he had already seen things no child should, like drive-by shootings and losing a cousin to gang violence. Living in this environment made crime seem normal to him. By 14, he could name dozens of drugs and their street prices, but couldn't solve a basic math problem. It's no surprise that these surroundings had a huge impact on the choices he made early in life. At just 14 years old, Jelly Roll was arrested for the first time. He was caught shoplifting cigarettes and marijuana. This small crime started a long cycle of trouble. For the next 10 years, he kept going in and out of jail. But something important happened while he was locked up. On September 3, 2000, at 15 years old, Jelly Roll wrote his first rap song. He was in Cell Block D at the Davidson County Juvenile Detention Center, with a pencil he wasn't supposed to have and the back of a commissary form he started writing. For him, it was a way to deal with everything going on in his life. Jelly Roll's early songs were about real things, his struggles and life on the streets of Antioch. He looked up to rappers like 3-6 Mafia and UGK because their music felt honest, just like his. By the time he turned 17 in 2001, he had already written over 100 songs, all while sitting in jail cells. His talent stood out, and in 2002, during a talent show at Woodland Hills Youth Center, he performed a song he wrote called "Streets Don't Love Nobody." A music teacher visiting the center was so impressed that they helped him record his first demo tape. With borrowed equipment, Jelly Roll created 5 tracks. It wasn't perfect, but it was his first real step toward a music career. In 2005, Jelly Roll released his first mixtape, Halfway House. He recorded it in his mom's basement in Antioch. The mixtape had 18 tracks, all about his tough life and his hopes for something better. One song, Hate Goes On, became popular in local clubs and on the radio. Within a few months, it had been played thousands of times on 101.1 The Beat. Jelly Roll had no big money to back him up, so he used his last $500 to make 1,000 CDs. He sold them at gas stations, barbershops, and out of his car. One song, Think I Give a Fuck, featured Haystack, a local rapper, and the music video they shot quickly got thousands of views on YouTube. Drugs played a big role in Jelly Roll's life from an early age. He started smoking marijuana and drinking alcohol by 12. At 13, he tried cocaine, and by 15, he was selling drugs. At first, he sold marijuana to support himself and his mother. Later, he started selling cocaine and pills, becoming well known in his neighborhood. His addiction got worse as he grew older. By 18, he was using dangerous combinations of drugs daily. like cocaine, Xanax, and codeine. He even overdosed once in 2006 after mixing cocaine, MDMA, and alcohol. Paramedics brought him back to life after his heart stopped for 2 minutes. Even this close call wasn't enough to make him stop. It wasn't until his final time in prison in 2008 that Jelly Roll started to face his addiction. He joined a 12-step program and began pouring his struggles into music. Writing became a way for him to cope and heal. In 2009, Jelly Roll's career took a big turn. Memphis rapper Lil White saw Jelly Roll's 10-minute freestyle on YouTube and sent him a message. They worked together on a song called Pop Another Pill. It was released on April 20, 2009, and became a surprise hit. The song got millions of views on YouTube, and people started noticing Jelly Roll. After that, Jelly Roll, Lil White, and another rapper, BPZ, formed a group called SNO, which stood for Stoners Night Out. They released an album called Year Round in 2011, produced by DJ Paul and Juicy J from 3-6 Mafia. It even made it onto the Billboard charts. Jelly Roll kept building his fan base through hard work. Between 2005 and 2015, he put out 27 projects, including mixtapes, EPs, and albums. He connected with fans by sharing his life on YouTube and touring non-stop. He even started doing Waffle House meet and greets, where fans could come hang out with him at different Waffle House restaurants. These events became legendary, with fans driving hours just to meet him. For Jelly Roll, music was his way of dealing with pain. In 2015, he released an album called Addiction Kills. One song, RX, talked about his struggle with addiction and connected deeply with fans. In 2020, he released Save Me, a song he wrote on the day he decided to get sober. It was raw and emotional, and people loved it. The song became a big hit and even earned him a platinum certification. Jelly Roll's music isn't just about him, it's about giving people hope. He shares his struggles so others feel less alone. He once said, "Music saved my life, and now I'm trying to use it to save others." In 2013, Jelly Roll released his album Whiskey, Weed, and Women on August 6th. Originally, he wanted to call it Whiskey, Weed, and Waffle House because of his love for the Southern restaurant. But just weeks before the release, on July 15th, Waffle House threatened to sue him for using their name and logo. Jelly Roll didn't let this stop him. He quickly changed the album's name and put a big cease and desist stamp on the cover art instead. This clever move turned the legal problem into a way to get people talking about the album. It had 22 songs, mixing hip-hop, rock, and country, showing off his unique style. Songs like Creature and Sunday Morning stood out for their emotional lyrics and powerful vocals. Even though the album debuted at number 50 on the Billboard R&B hip-hop chart and sold just 1,800 copies in its first week, it was a big deal for an independent artist like Jelly Roll. Fans loved how raw and honest it was. The title track became a huge underground hit, getting over 15 million streams by 2024. Jelly Roll's style made him stand out, but it also made his career harder. Between 2013 and 2020, he released albums and mixtapes that didn't fit neatly into one genre. In 2016, he worked with Struggle Jennings on Waylon and Willie, which leaned into country and outlaw rock. Then, in 2017, A Beautiful Disaster brought him back to hip-hop with a cleaner sound. But this constant switching made it hard for radio stations and streaming platforms to know where to put him. In 2019, Jelly Roll told Billboard he felt like he didn't belong anywhere. "I'm too country for hip-hop and too hip-hop for country," he said. "It's like being musically homeless." Record labels didn't know how to market him, and this rejection hurt him deeply. In 2018, he almost quit music altogether. But in 2019, he met country star Brantley Gilbert, who gave him advice. Gilbert told him to embrace his country roots while keeping his unique sound. This meeting reignited Jelly Roll's passion and led to his breakthrough in country music with Ballads of the Broken in 2021. Meanwhile, Jelly Roll's struggles with addiction continued. In a podcast in 2024, he revealed that in 2012, he was spending over $1,000 a day on drugs. One of his darkest moments happened on July 15, 2013, when he overdosed on heroin and fentanyl. It took 3 doses of Narcan to save him. After that, he tried to get clean and stayed sober for 18 months, but he relapsed in 2015. He went to rehab multiple times, including a 90-day program in 2016 and outpatient treatment in 2018. But staying sober was a constant battle. In April 2023, the pressure of fame led him to relapse again, using cocaine for 37 days. But since May 17, 2023, Jelly Roll has been sober. As of January 2025, he is 20 months clean, thanks to therapy, 12-step meetings, and support from his wife, Bunny XO. He carries a sobriety chip everywhere and has his sobriety date tattooed on his wrist to remind himself of his journey. In 2020, Jelly Roll's life changed when he released Save Me on June 26th. The song came at a tough time for him. He was grieving his father's death and feeling lonely during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Jelly Roll later said that it was a dark time when people were disinfecting everything and he felt trapped in his sadness. Save Me was raw and emotional, and people could feel the honesty in every word. It didn't take long for the song to become popular. The acoustic version on YouTube reached millions of people, with over 200 million views by 2025. Fans sent messages telling Jelly Roll how the song helped them through their own struggles, like fighting addiction or dealing with loss. The song's sound was different too. It had a country feel, but you could still hear hints of Jelly Roll's hip-hop style. This mix of styles made it special. It connected with people who liked different types of music, from country to rock to hip-hop. It even appeared on charts for all 3 genres, which doesn't happen often. The success of Save Me got the attention of record labels. Everyone wanted to sign him. On September 9, 2021, Jelly Roll signed with BBR Music Group's Stony Creek Records. This was a big deal for Jelly Roll and for country music. He didn't look or act like a typical country star. He was 36 years old, covered in tattoos, and had been to jail. But the label believed in him and signed him for $3 million. This was one of the biggest deals for a new country artist. The contract promised 3 albums in 5 years, with a lot of support to make them successful. For Jelly Roll, this was a huge step after working so hard on his own for years. Not long after signing the deal, Jelly Roll released his first major label album, Ballads of the Broken, on September 17, 2021. The album was personal and honest. It had songs about his battles with addiction, his mental health, and his journey to turn his life around. It was a mix of country, rock, and hip-hop, making it stand out from other albums. Songs like Dead Man Walking and Son of a Sinner became hits. Dead Man Walking even reached #1 on the rock charts. The album did well right away, landing in the top 10 on Billboard's country chart and getting over 100 million streams in its first month. Jelly Roll used social media to share stories about the songs and his life, which made fans feel closer to him. Critics loved the album for how real and different it was. They called it one of the best country debuts of the year. It proved Jelly Roll wasn't just another artist. He was bringing something new to country music. In 2023, Jelly Roll hit a huge milestone. His song, Son of a Sinner, became his first #1 hit on country radio. It took almost a year to climb to the top, but it was worth it. The song was about struggles and redemption, with lyrics that felt deeply personal. It connected with so many people, reaching #31 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earning a platinum certification for selling over 1 million units. For Jelly Roll, this moment meant everything. People had doubted whether someone like him, a former rapper with tattoos and a troubled past, could make it in country music. But he proved them wrong. When celebrating the song's success, Jelly Roll said, Imagine this happening to a guy who grew up in this town, a guy who spent the first 25 years of his life making all the wrong decisions. It wasn't just about the charts. It was about showing that anyone, no matter their past, can rise and succeed. Jelly Roll's story in country music is full of big moments and surprising connections. One of the most important relationships in his career is with country star Brantley Gilbert. They first worked together in June 2022 on a song called Son of the Dirty South. This song mixed Jelly Roll's rap style with Brantley's country rock sound, creating something fresh and exciting. Their bond didn't end there. They became close friends. In fact, Jelly Roll once said he talks to Brantley on the phone more than anyone else, except his wife, Bunny XO. They started writing songs together and even went on a small tour called the Son of the Dirty South Summer Tour. The tour had 5 shows, starting in Jacksonville, Florida, and ending in Brandon, Mississippi. Fans loved seeing their chemistry on stage. They kept creating together. In 2023, they worked on a song called Behind Bars with Struggle Jennings. This track was on Jelly Roll's Whitsit Chapel album and mixed country, hip-hop, and rock. But the biggest surprise? They've secretly been working on a joint EP since 2023. Brantley said in 2024 that they've written enough songs to release it, and if they do, it could change the way people see country music. One of Jelly Roll's most emotional moments was his first performance at the Grand Ole Opry on November 13, 2021. For him, this wasn't just a big career moment, it was personal. Back in 2008, while he was in prison, he found comfort listening to country music. He remembered hearing Craig Morgan perform at the Opry, and it gave him hope. After he got out of prison, Jelly Roll went to an Opry show and sat in the 7th row to watch Craig Morgan sing live. When Jelly Roll performed on that same stage years later, he pointed out the exact seat he had sat in back then. He sang 3 songs that night: Son of a Sinner, Save Me, and Dead Man Walking. His performance of Save Me was especially moving because he dedicated it to anyone who ever felt worthless, but found hope again. The story didn't end there. In April 2022, Craig Morgan joined Jelly Roll on stage at the Opry. They sang Craig's song Almost Home together, and Craig even gave Jelly Roll a framed copy of the lyrics. It was a full-circle moment. Jelly Roll went from listening to Craig in prison to sharing the stage with him. Jelly Roll's win at the 2023 CMA Awards was another huge moment. On November 8, 2023, he won New Artist of the Year. At 39, he was one of the oldest winners ever. During his speech, he told the audience, "Success is on the other side of it. Keep going, baby." His excitement showed when he accidentally dropped and broke his award backstage. Instead of being upset, he laughed it off and joked about it on TV later, saying it was just like his life. Messy, but real. Another major moment was the release of his album Whitsit Chapel on June 2, 2023. Named after a church he went to as a kid, the album was deeply personal. It debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 chart and number 2 on the Top Country Albums chart, breaking records for a country album debut. The album had 13 songs, all written by Jelly Roll, and included collaborations with artists like Brantley Gilbert, Lainey Wilson, and rapper Yelawolf. One of the album's inspirations was his teenage daughter, Bailey, who decided to get baptized. This inspired songs about faith and redemption, like Halfway to Hell and Dancing with the Devil. Critics loved the album for its honesty and emotional depth. Jelly Roll also made history with his tours. In 2023, he headlined the Back Road Baptism Tour, playing 44 shows across the country. The tour featured artists from different genres, like Chase Rice, 3-6 Mafia, and El King. He even sold out a massive show at Nashville's Bridgestone Arena, performing for over 18,000 fans. In 2024, he announced a Canadian tour and a surprising stadium tour with Post Malone in 2025. This pairing of a country star and a pop hip-hop icon is rare and shows how Jelly Roll is breaking barriers in music. Jelly Roll's struggle with food addiction hit its worst point on August 17, 2022. That day, he stepped on the scale and saw 563 pounds staring back at him. For years, he had turned to food for comfort, eating over 10,000 calories every single day. He talked about this openly on January 5, 2025, during an interview. He said he would eat whole pizzas by himself while binge-watching TV shows. He even admitted to hiding snacks in his tour bus so he could sneak food at night when no one else was awake. One terrifying moment came on March 3, 2023. On that day, he ate 37 chicken wings, 2 large pizzas, and drank an entire gallon of soda. Later, he had chest pains so severe that he had to go to the hospital. This was a wake-up call. After that, he decided to get help. He started working with a nutritionist and a therapist who specialized in food addiction, but his struggles weren't new. Back in October 2021, he once ate an entire wedding cake meant for 200 people over just 2 days. He said the shame and guilt afterward were unbearable. Everything changed on January 15, 2024. Jelly Roll was performing at a sold-out concert at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, with 20,000 fans cheering for him. In the middle of his performance, he stopped and made a huge announcement. "I'm tired of being the fat guy in country music," he told the crowd. "Tonight, I'm making a promise to all of you, and to myself, that by this time next year, I'll be half the man I am today." The crowd went wild, but they had no idea how far he would go to make that promise a reality. The very next day, Jelly Roll got to work. He hired 3 personal trainers, each focusing on a different part of fitness. He also brought on 4 nutritionists, a sleep specialist, and even a hypnotherapist to help him change his relationship with food. He completely transformed his mansion into a fitness center. It had everything: a basketball court, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and a huge sauna, big enough for his entire band. His diet was unlike anything else. He called it the Nashville Hot Chicken Diet. It let him eat his favorite dish, but in a healthier way. His chefs made a version with lean turkey breast, covered in special spices that tasted just like the real thing, but had way fewer calories, 75% less, to be exact. He ate this 5 times a day, along with low-carb veggies and a sweet tea-flavored protein shake. Jelly Roll's workouts were just as intense. Every day started at 4:30 a.m. with a 5-mile walk around his property. Sometimes, fans who camped outside his gates would join him. By 7 a.m., he was in the pool, swimming for 2 hours. After that, he did basketball drills for 90 minutes. In the afternoons, he lifted weights and did cardio, and at night, he ended his day with yoga and meditation. Even on tour, he didn't stop. He had a treadmill installed on his bus and walked the same distance as the cities he traveled between. One of the craziest things he did was extreme temperature therapy. He spent $500,000 on a cryo chamber, where he would spend 3 minutes at negative 230 degrees Fahrenheit 3 times a day. Right after that, he would sit in a sauna heated to 220 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. He said it helped him burn an extra 3,000 calories every day, though some doctors worried it might not be safe. Jelly Roll didn't keep any of this private. He shared everything on social media: daily weigh-ins, body measurements, even his blood test results. On March 3, 2024, he posted an emotional video of himself putting on a pair of jeans he hadn't worn since high school. He broke down crying, and the video went viral, getting over 50 million views in just 1 day. It started a movement called the Jelly Roll Challenge, where fans shared their own weight loss stories. By June 2024, just 6 months into his journey, Jelly Roll had already lost 150 pounds. His transformation was so dramatic that he had to cancel tour dates to resize his stage outfits and redo promotional photos. His journey inspired over 500,000 fans to join his official weight loss support group on Facebook. Jelly Roll found out something surprising about his struggles with food. It wasn't just about overeating, it was tied to his past drug use. The same parts of his brain that reacted to drugs were triggered by binge eating. This explained why diets never worked for him. Once he realized this, he changed how he approached recovery. He didn't just focus on food or addiction separately. He worked with experts on both to build a plan that really helped. Therapy became a huge part of his life. Since September 2022, he's been going to therapy 5 times a week. That's over 500 hours of counseling. During these sessions, he dug into his past and faced hard truths. In March 2023, something big happened. He remembered a buried memory of abuse during a special type of therapy. It was painful, but important for his healing. On top of therapy, he joined Overeaters Anonymous and attended meetings 3 times a week. But he didn't stop there. In July 2023, Jelly Roll went to a 72-hour retreat in the Mojave Desert. It wasn't easy. For the first 2 days, they couldn't eat and had to focus on intense emotional work. During this retreat, he realized how much his relationships were affecting him. This helped him make big changes in his personal life. He also tried other types of therapy, like working with horses, hypnosis, and even therapy using psychedelics. One session helped him forgive his father, who he hadn't spoken to in 15 years. This led to an emotional reunion, which he talked about in an interview later. To handle stress, Jelly Roll found new ways to stay calm. In early 2024, he added a meditation pod to his tour bus. He made sure to meditate for at least 30 minutes before every performance. This came after a panic attack on stage in February 2024, which forced him to leave mid-show. He also started writing music every day to match his emotions. He didn't worry about making it perfect. He just used it to let his feelings out. Over time, he created more than 300 pieces of music. Some of it might even be part of an album in the future. Jelly Roll also worked on his physical health. In September 2023, he started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It became a way to handle anger and build discipline. By the end of 2024, he had earned a blue belt. He even used some moves during his performances to show how far he'd come. He also tried something called extreme temperature therapy. 3 times a week, he would go between freezing cold cryotherapy and a hot sauna. He believed it helped him feel calmer and sleep better. He even spent $500,000 on a mobile cryo sauna for his tours. Jelly Roll has been honest about his struggles, and it's inspired many people. In April 2024, during a big interview, he talked about having borderline personality disorder. He admitted it affected his relationships and his career. He also shared that he had thought about suicide earlier that year. On a podcast in August 2024, he revealed how therapy helped him uncover painful memories. After hearing his story, many fans reached out for help with their own struggles.